H. Don King,
Daphne Johnson,
Kendall Alexander Richardson,
Donna Dossett Major,
Angelino Cooper,
Aisha Triumph Clare,
Chad Rutherford,
Ron Rogers,
Anne-Marie Clinton Rowe,
The Right Honorable Priest Rickman McKinney,
Rashay Sands,
Mr. Avon Emmanuel,
Charlotte Green,
Jason Gibson,
Cara Ellis,
The Rep Prince.
I'm Lincoln Bain, and I'm the leader of the Coalition of Independence. We are a group of Bahamians who have come together to be the change this country needs to see.
Change is here.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome once again. It is a beautiful day in the Bahamas, and it is actually 10 days, 15 hours, 52 minutes, and 30 seconds away from the new Bahamas, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10 days, 15 hours, 52 minutes, and 20 seconds away from the new Bahamas. Yes, the clock is ticking. And so we have reason to be celebratory because this old way of things is about to be left behind. And we're about to move on to something new. I hope you're ready for something new. I hope you're ready for the new Bahamas. The Bahamas, it just works. A Bahamas, it works for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do when you get on here, my fellow Bahamians, and that is share. Please share the live. You know the drill. You know, of course, that the media does not want this to get out there. That of course the system does not want to get this out there, and that we have to be responsible citizens of the New Bahamas and share the information. So please share, ladies and gentlemen. Please share. All right. So I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. We are just days away. Oh my God, I am so excited. I am excited. We are days away from what we've all been waiting for all these years. We are days away. It's almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Please share so someone else out there can experience what you're about to experience today. Ladies and gentlemen, the blackout is coming. What is the blackout? It is the blackout of power of the politicians. This is the blackout of power of the oligarchs, the corrupt oligarchs that are destroying this nation. And they are black and white oligarchs. Their race has nothing to do with it, but they are persons who are corrupt. We are fighting against corruption. We have a stance against corruption because it is the biggest problem in this country. And so we are days away. Aren't you glad that we're about to leave the old Bahamas and head into the new one? Well, I want to say this. I've seen people saying this all over social media, so I'm going to repeat what they're saying. There are only officially two major parties in this country, and they are the COI and the PLP. There are officially two major parties in this country, and they are the COI and PLP. The FNM is just about obliterated. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking on them. The clock is ticking. And so their reign is over. That is it. We will have to deal with the UBP FNM no more. And I thank my Heavenly Father that we will not have to see those Philistines, those Egyptians ever again. They are the Egyptians. There are also some Philistines that we need to eradicate this country of. And they are that other old dinosaur party called the Progressive Liberal Party. It is time for their reign to also end. We thank you, all of you, for all of your contributions that you've given to this country, though we have paid you handsomely for doing so. Though you have put yourself in positions and connections to be able to benefit you for generations. We thank you for your service. You've been paid well. Dr. Minnis, you've served for several terms now. Thanks for what you've contributed. But we're going to move on without you. Your services are no longer required. Your services of disrespecting the media, of disrespecting the behaving people, of talking down to us, of treating us like we're nothing, like we're animals, dealing with us with no regards, locking down the country without any kind of notice, accepting materials for hurricane relief and hiding them from us. That is sick and evil. There needs to be some explanation for that. How you treated our Bahamian friends and relatives that were in that trailer. We will not forget. We will forgive, but we will not forget what you have done, Dr. Minnis. Yes, some people say that, you know, you had a hard time, you had a hurricane, a big hurricane, and that you had an international disaster called COVID. But every administration has hurricanes, and no, it wasn't as bad as Dorian or as powerful as Dorian, but it was your response to Dorian that made us sick, that devastated us, that in some instances may have cost lives. People were suffering. While aid was right there, ready to come onto our shores, you refused to accept this aid. You turned away some NGOs who wanted to help, and then you lied shortly after the hurricane and said that Abaco was 95% back to pre-COVID levels. Thank you for whatever service you've given to us, but it's time to move on. We are ending this toxic relationship with toxic prime ministers. Those Philistines we need to get rid of are the Progressive Liberal Party. It is a party of corruption. It is a party of corruption. Though Minnis has proven to be more corrupt than any PLP administration ever was, it is a party of corruption. He's known for that. And the main thing that disqualifies Philip Brave Davis is that he said publicly to the entire Bahamas that he saw no corruption under the previous PLP administration, which he was one of the leaders of as a deputy prime minister. He saw no kind of corruption or wrongdoing. Now, of course, Alfred Sayers, who is now running with the Progressive Liberal Party, had said that there was corruption in the PLP and that they needed to fix these wrongs. It came out of his own mouth after election, that they take these things too lightly in that party. but also the deputy leader of the Progressive Liberal Party got strong flack and strong kickback from staunch PLP supporters when he said something similar after election, that the PLP was corrupt and they needed to apologize to the Bahamian people. They never did. The PLP never repented for their actions. Never. Leader of the PLP digged in his feet, straightened his back, looked into the eyes of the Bahamian people, and said he saw no corruption under the previous PLP. This tells you what you can expect. Unequivocally, it tells you what you are to expect from a Philip Grave Davis-led administration. If he didn't see all this corruption, and you know what to expect, if that's what you're riding with, then enjoy. 2 months after election, 3 months after election, after they come off vacation, enjoy. Bahamas, we have one chance at this. We have to make that change. We have to stand up. We need to switch. I want to thank every member of the COI and all Bahamians who came out in full force yesterday. You came out and showed the Bahamas that the COI is not a third party and it's not a fringe party, that the COI is a legitimate political force in this country. We called a motorcade almost about 9 o'clock at night, the night before, on Friday night, and told people, you know what, we want to have a motorcade tomorrow. And you showed up in full force. You showed up. You showed up. Thank you so much. You showed up to stand up and fight for the New Bahamas. It was short notice, and we just decided last minute to go through with it. But you showed up because you're ready for change. No one promised you anything. No one paid you anything. You are Bahamians who believe in the New Bahamas. I want to thank all of you. The only way we're going to get this done and get rid of the corruption that we've been experiencing and protect ourselves from the deadly threat of this country being led by a Minnis administration or a Davis administration, the only way we're going to do that is for you to stand up and fight for this. You must stand up and fight for this aggressively. I said when we called you come and you came. Thank you so much for believing, not in me, but in the New Bahamas. Believing in yourselves. Believing that Bahamians can be put first in this nation. Thank you. We started from Pinewood Gardens and we dressed up and fixed up the big truck. We dressed and fixed it up. That's the big truck. That's the change mobile right there. 40-foot trailer. We turned into a stage with an office in it. And we drove that trailer, the black trailer, on the streets of the Bahamas, letting them know that change is here. This motorcade was so big that it intimidated the Progressive Liberal Party. They thought that only them would have a motorcade yesterday. And they were all over social media promoting their motorcade and how big their motorcade was until they ran into our motorcade. And then they saw what a real motorcade is. Oh, their motorcade was dressed up and pretty. Their party has had the opportunity to steal and pillage for the last more than 50 years. So, of course, they had the money to make their motorcade very pretty. But we showed them what real people who believe in change can do. We showed them. It was like the Americans fighting for their independence. They had some ragtag armies and they didn't have any uniforms and they had to have old used guns that sometimes broke down, but they were ready for change. The British had their fancy uniforms that they were in the hot sun with, these boots. They had brand new rifles and bayonets and cannons and all the good fixed up stuff. But it's nothing like an idea whose time has come. There is nothing like a people who have had enough. There is nothing. That's like that woman that you have abused for so long and she is tired and she is fed up. There's nothing that can stop her from getting her life together. That's like that young man who just makes a decision that I'm not going to be bullied no more. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to make a change. That's like that person who says, you know what, I want to make myself healthy. I want to live a better life. I'm going to do what it takes to get this done. There's nothing like a person who is ready to change. And you came up and you showed out. And so our motorcade was so long that it wrapped around Pinewood. Half of us went straight on East Street when some of us turned the corner because they didn't see that we turned. So only the PLP actually only ran into half of our motorcade, and that intimidated them. We watched as we passed them on Seabreeze Park, and some of their mouths dropped open, and they just sat there and stared. Stand there and stared because they couldn't believe. Someone had told them that we were a French party. Someone lied to them and told them that we are a French party. The fact of the matter is, we're not a party. We are people. We're not a party. We are a country. We are the Bahamian people. And we have risen up to say, enough is enough. We, the Bahamian people, have risen up to say, no more. We can't take it anymore. Are we a party? No. We are a nation. And so members of this nation, citizens of this nation decided that they wanted to come together to do something different. And thus we have the Coalition of Independence. That is who we are. Regular, qualified Bahamians who have decided to stand up. And so we've submitted 30+ candidates, which makes us a major political party. We had a motorcade like the FNM has never had. And we do believe that our motorcade was much bigger than the PLP's motorcade. Even half of our motorcade was bigger than the PLP's motorcade. That's left opinion, but that is what we feel. We passed their motorcade. And as far as we're concerned, we outdid them. We had 2 lanes. We had 2 lanes in Seabreeze. They had 1. Both lanes in Seabreeze were our people, and they had 1. Listen, we have come strong like no other party has ever come. I want you to understand something. That we have done this in the shortest period of time in history. We formed this entire organization in March. We launched in March with as much candidates as the PLP and FNM. The amount of organization and work that we had to put into this, many will never know or understand. We didn't make excuses, we got it done. We formed a proper organization, put everything together in a matter of months. I am proud of all of my people of the COI. I'm proud of all of my candidates who have stood strong and are standing strong and who have helped to get us where we are today. I am proud of all of our leaders, of Marie Daxon, of Charlotte Green, of our executive team, for all of the work that they put in, that people, the Bahamian people will never know the work that goes behind the revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done this in the shortest period of time in history, all to the strength of God, because we believe that this is a God move, and we believe that He is behind this and in this. And when we come through, we're going to come through because of Him. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for showing up on this motorcade. It was a blessing to see all of you out there in the rain. We have showed them that we are not a fringe party. I heard some people on some talk show said, you know, oh, there's only the PLP and F&M. You think? Do you think? Do you still think there's only the PLP and F&M? I know that some of the media houses are paid to not acknowledge us. You are going to acknowledge us as a party or as the government of this country. You're going to acknowledge us in 11 short days, in 10 short days. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a change. And so our motorcade was so long and half of them got cut off, so we decided to meet up at R&B Park to give them a chance to find us if they were watching on the live. And we ended up with an impromptu rally that we didn't even promote or say anything about, just like the motorcade. And we ended up in a rally, filling R&B Park. We were so proud. We got blessed with rain showers up there. Let me tell you something. When Bahamians are ready to stand in the rain for something, you know they fed up. You know they're ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time. It is time. Now, we're calling a rally for this Saturday. So this Saturday, we want you to come out. It's going to be, you stay in your cars. It's going to be an in-car rally. We're going to set up stage and everything. And you stay in your cars. And you're going to hear from our candidates, our qualified candidates. You're going to hear from them. And they're going to talk to you about different areas that they're interested in. And you're going to hear from them. And so you're going to hear from our candidates in the province. And so you're going to hear from me. You're going to hear the speech that's going to take us into this next election, into the New Bahamas. And so that's this Saturday. So we're going to post the times on our website and on our Facebook pages, David Evolution, Coalition of Independence, and my page. And we're going to put the information out there in the WhatsApp groups. And so this Saturday, I'm going to give you the times. By tomorrow, you're going to see the times pop up. And we are going to be out there. We're going to have a motorcade. We're going to bring the big truck out again. And we're going to have a motorcade that moves through the northern part of the city this time. And the motorcade is going to end with a rally. All right, it's going to end in a rally. All right, we're going to make sure we have some refreshments and drinks out there. And it's going to end with a rally, right, at R&B Park. That's what we're planning for now. It's not locked down. And, you know, once I've said that, the government can go try to block it. You know how they do. But the location, we'll let you know when we're looking at R&B Park, all right? But we're going to start and end at the same place. And we're going to have a rally. You're going to hear from our powerful speakers. And we are going to usher in to the New Bahamas, okay? And so I just want to take this time to mention that people are saying on WhatsApp, etc., that one of our candidates died. Actually, there was someone that we had ratified. We ratified several people that didn't end up becoming candidates. We were going to the full slate. Some people were did not end up being nominated. So in South Eleuthera, we ratified a candidate, but he wasn't able because of the COVID restrictions. He didn't get on his flight in time, all right? And so he didn't get to Eleuthera to nominate. We also ratified someone in North Eleuthera. That person wasn't able to nominate. We couldn't hear from them for some days. We did not know exactly what was going on. We were calling and trying to get in contact with him. And we heard that yesterday that he did pass away. Right? He was for North Eleuthera. His name was Vinton Kelly. Vinton Kelly in North Eleuthera. All right. I don't know details or what's behind it. But Vinton Kelly did pass away. He was not nominated. He did not get to nominate, so he was an official candidate. But he did pass away, and we wish our deepest sympathies to his family. This COVID thing is affecting lots of us. It's affecting many behaviors. We need to take this seriously. If you have symptoms, do not sit on it and do nothing. Get up, get out, do what you have to do. Deal with it. Don't wait until you deteriorate to your lowest point. Deal with it. Deal with it. Right? And so we need you to take this seriously. Right? So, of course, we're going to be putting out more of our plans, including our health plan this week. We're going to be, there's some stuff on our COVID-19 response plan that we need to modify on our website. There's also YouTube actually deleted the video that all of you watch, and so it's hard to understand some of the information on the website without the video being there. So we're editing some of that, but we have real solutions for this. All right, real solutions to get this done, and we're going to talk to them more. We have some doctors to talk to about some more of what we're doing. Once we talk to them, we're going to make some more announcements. But I just want to say this again for all of you, that we have to protect ourselves. We have to do what is right for us and our family. Our stance remains that it is experimental. We know what they said about Pfizer, but we know that that was pushed up for certain reasons. I'm careful about talking about this because YouTube blocks the videos and then they suspend us just for mentioning this stuff. And so thank you so much. Now, next, we want everyone to understand that I have 4 people to introduce you to this evening. So please stay for that. Get that right now. We have 4 people to introduce you to this evening, right? And so I want to, before I get to that, I need to understand something. That's not a natural call. We get a lot of calls from supporters who want to meet all of our members. We got to meet you. We gotta see you. Because our culture is that we want to see you. I've never experienced politicians knocking on my door. Never even experienced that. But people want to be able to see that. That's our culture. Minister Paul is not into this. And because he knows to get to every so we're going to and that causes a problem. Means very I'm going to have to go out, come back here. Right? Thank you so much. Sorry for that little commercial break. This technology, and I was doing this on a phone, and this is my busy phone I'm doing it on. And so someone decided to call me while I'm live. I don't know why someone would do that. But obviously they don't know I'm live. So I just wanted to say this. I hope the sound is better. If it is, you can let me know, or if it isn't. Municipal staff election. Some of these constituencies are extremely big. It's going to be hard for all of our candidates to get through to all of these constituencies, all right, to every door. And so we need you to please understand that. I have not even touched every door in Pinewood, and I hit the streets every single day. Sometimes you go to a house and people want to talk long. They have questions, They want to meet you. They want to talk to you. They have good questions. And so it's difficult. Sometimes I only get to one corner, in a day. Sometimes I only get to 2 in a day. And so I have 52 corners in Pinewood. all right? And so while we were walking Pinewood for months, it's still difficult to get to everyone. Someone say, I haven't seen this person to this corner, but they've been to many other corners. I can assure you that every single one of our candidates are on the ground every day. In fact, some of them are even going on Sundays, all right, which initially we discouraged them from, but some of them are going on Sundays, all right? They're going every single day. And so we're trying to get to everybody. Please understand, politicians have tricks, and we don't need you to fall for these tricks again. And so the political trick is to get you to say, man, I didn't see the person, so I'm just going to go with whatever. Think, Bahamas. That's what they're trying to get you to do. Stop falling for these political tricks. Wise up. Smarten up yourself. Lively up yourself. Think differently. The politicians play these tricks on us because they think we're our grandfather's generations. In some cases, people still think that way. If you need to get in touch with the candidate, if they haven't reached your corner, they also do house calls in the middle of everything else they're doing. And so please get in touch with them. Candidates are on here now. You can put your numbers out there. Get in touch with them and call them. They will do house calls for you. I'm doing that. And so they will come and see you individually. We want to get to every house, but it's difficult to see over 5,000, sometimes over 6,000 or 7,000 voters in a 3-week period. Minutes called the election with 3 weeks notice. It was really 2 weeks notice because the next week after you called it was nomination, the next week. And so with this short notice, really 1 week notice, I should say, because the next week was nomination. And then advance poll starts in a few days. And so you have to go into full election mode, and that's it. Don't let the minister string you with these tricks. He reduced the curfew hours, not because of COVID. He reduced them to reduce the hours that you can be out there campaigning. That's why he did that, because he doesn't want the message to spread. But with this knowledge, we need you to understand that you must go out there and spread the message. You must go out there and spread the message of the New Bahamas. You have to get to every door. Yes, they want to see the candidate, but we're introducing you to candidates as we go live, and we are taking questions every single day. Anything that is not understood, we are here. We're not like typical politicians running from you. We are here to answer your questions. I am taking on this responsibility to answer your questions every single day. I'm taking responsibility to answer all of the questions. And so we are here, and we are ready for that. So don't fall for that tricks. All right, stay focused, farmers, especially because that they yesterday and legitimize all of us. They are going to judge it because they realize still want this from the academic. They realize that the COI is the only way to keep the country, and that the COI is strong support. And so, of course, they're going to be on the top. We don't want to. And every time we see it, all right. And so they're saying that by I'm sorry, people keep calling my phone while I'm live, and as they are calling, we did the software and knocks out the software and causes the volume to we humbly apologize for that. I have some questions that we need to see. They're on in the backstage, they're on, and so I'm going to get them on in a second. Let me just quickly transfer to the phone that people are calling constantly. This can tell you how much costs to get on. And so we're going to switch phones now. Switch phones, I'll be right back in 2 seconds. There you go. That was fast. Yep, that was fast. So thank you so much. Just had to switch devices. Thank you for holding on. All right, next. We need you to understand our vision. We're putting our vision out there. We're gonna start to put them out there. What we had released previously, some of you may know, was written in pencil, and it was the draft of what we wanted to put out there to the people. All right. And so now we're gonna start to put more details out there. You contributed. We're going to take what you contributed, put it together, and put more of our vision out there. Some people who are just starting to follow us are like, okay, where's the vision or the plan, etc. And of course, you know that we started to present the plans, presented to you by those persons with an interest in various areas, our shadow ministers, and you are supposed to contribute to it. Having the first time that we have a people's plan, of course, you see, you don't know where the PLP's plan came from. You have no idea where the F&M's plans came from. They came from some dark room somewhere. They're just bullet points. They have no details on anything. I looked through it. I'm like, this is disappointing. They just mention stuff, all of which we know they're not going to do, like the F&M that didn't do 98% of what they said they were going to do. But they don't have a plan. And this is the problem. They're now starting to state stuff that they've been hearing me say over the months. But this is where we need a change of. And so we're going to start putting our plan up there, the official people's plan. It didn't go how we wanted to go because they call it snap election. But we're going to start putting it up, and you're going to start to see them on the website this week. All right. So thank all of you. There's a lot to put down in 3 weeks to be able to put down all of your plans. The F&M and PLP knew exactly when the election was going to be. Of course, they're working together. And so we're going to get that out there for you. I just want to say to all of you Bahamians, never quit. Never quit on yourself and never quit on your country. I know it's been hard, and some of you have said, I'm not even voting because I'm tired. We keep voting for these different parties and nothing happens. I want to say to you that you've never voted for a different party. You've always voted for the same party. The PLP and F&M are the same. And it's when you wake up to that is when you're going to understand. They're the same. I don't have to tell that story over and over. You know it. They are the same. That's why, you know, when they're out, they would start to say stuff, you know, what they're going to do, what they're going to do. Then when they get in, they continue what the other person was doing that they were speaking against. Because they're the same. Come on, Bahamas. You have to wake up. You have to wake up. You're sleepwalking. We're shaking you and telling you to wake up. All you got to do is open your eyes and you will see. For all of you Bahamians, don't quit. A change is on the way. A change is here. Don't give up on yourselves. Don't give up on your family. For those of you who are saying that you're going to go away and leave this country, give the Bahamian people 11 days to make a choice. Some people are saying that, oh, it's prophesied that we're going to have a new government, etc., etc. But the people always have choice. From Adam and Eve to now, they always had choice. And people are allowed to make the wrong choice. And you can make the wrong choice, and then you and your children suffer for another 50 years. Or you can make the right choice. You always have a choice. And so it's not about whether this is the prophecy or not. It's about you have a choice. And if you choose door number 1, the F&M, this is what will happen. Your country will continue in the dark ages that started in 1977. Your country will now have 15% VAT that will increase to 20% VAT. So let me just say 20% VAT. Your country will have income tax. Remember these words, and the choice is yours. Your country will have income tax, and your country will have 20% VAT. We are already struggling beyond our means. Ladies and gentlemen, we need someone with vision. There's no vision in door number 1. There's a dictator who is going to be worse because he's in the last term that he wants. He's going to be old after that. And he doesn't care what you think after that. There's nothing you can do with him. He's going to make as much money as he can. As if he hasn't already made a lot of money. He won't care anything about you. Hubert Minnis, in another 5 years, would destroy this country. Door number 2 is the PLP and Philip Brave Davis. We just came from them. actually strongly believe it would be worse. I strongly believe that. Anyone who's been a police officer or a criminal knows that. We don't want that. Wake up, Bahamas. Now, if we were talking about different leaders of the PLP, maybe we'd be having a different conversation. But I will tell you this unreservedly, that we don't want that. If you go with door number 2, there's 20% back, there's income tax, there's a downgrade of our dollar, international embarrassment. I want you to remember me saying these words. That's why I'm saying them and saying them so clear. I want you to play this back. If the Bahamian people choose the PLP, 3, 4, 5 months after election, play this back when it starts to happen. Crime under control. Ladies and gentlemen, or there's another door. There's no number on that door. But there's another door. And that door leads to the New Bahamas. We've never been in that door. We don't know what really to expect. But we know we won't get what we've been getting in door number 1 and door number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my Freeport candidates. These are candidates that I believe in. These are candidates that have been over there in Freeport, holding this country down. Holding this country down. I'm going to introduce you to them one by one. I'm excited about them. They also had a motorcade in Grand Bahama while we were having ours in Nassau. All right. So we had the country block yesterday in the north and in New Providence, and so while we were having our motorcade, they were holding it down, and their motorcade was impressive in Grand Bahama. I'm going to introduce them to you right now. And I'm going to start with the only young man of them, and that is Mr. Stephen Hall. Mr. Stephen Hall. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't have any volume. Let me see if I can do something about that.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there you are. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I just want you to know that I am proud of you. I'm going to introduce you to the Bahamian people again. You are, in fact, tell them a little bit about yourself and who you are, your track record. They want to know who our candidates is. And for those doors you don't get to, tell them who you are.
Well, good day, everyone. My name is Stephen Hall, candidate for West Grand Bahama and Bimini. I've lived in West Grand Bahama all my life, 37 years of my life. My grandparents were preacher in Pearline Hall. We attended the Church of God of Prophecy, where they became ministers in the church. I'm a track athlete by heart, a health instructor, a motivational speaker, an ambassador. We have been all over this country. We've been all over the international levels where we represented the country in tourism. For tourism, the Bahama Brass Band, we went to Houston to let them know that the Bahamas was open for business once again after Dorian. We came back. I worked along with a nonprofit organization. We were the first responders after Dorian, giving out or contributing assistance and lending a hand with anything needed. I'm sociable. I'm well known in the community of West Grand Bahama. I have family from West End, Holmes Rock, Pinedale, Seagrape, Jonestown, Hannah Hill. So I'm well known in the community of West Grand Bahama. We made a trip to Bimini the other day, about 7 days ago. We headed back to Bimini this week. The Biminites in Bimini are amazing. I spoke to so many of them. I was so intrigued by the conversations, but also I was so hurt by the things that they were going through. There's so much afflictions in Bimini, and we really need to help these people, man. We need to help Bahamians. It's time for us to rise up, young, old. It's time for us to fight, man. I wish you guys would join us and stand with us. As we speak, I'm still getting texts from Bimini. Persons wanting to see this change happen. It is time for us to be Bahamians. It's time for us to be warriors in this fight. Let's rise up and fight, man.
I just want to take this time to thank all of our people in Bimini, our hotel workers, our immigration officers. Hello to you, all of our police officers, and all of our people in Bimini. Thank you for supporting this movement. We believe that you are ready for change, that you're going to do something different. We're going to do this for you. We're going to do this. If you want to change, this is the chance. This is the only chance. Stefano, what are some of the things you want to see for West Grand Bahama and Bimini?
Well, West Grand Bahama it's a wonderful place, but we have been under so much oppression for so long. There are so many things that we have in the pipeline. We have 2 buildings that have been being constructed now from 2016. They have not been completed. We want to complete those buildings because that hold a lot of our administration, our offices that they want to put down here. We have a whole project for the back road in West Grand Bahama. We want to change it up a bit and not make it just for eatery. We want to make it for festivities. A lot of Battle of the Bands, boat races like what they would have in West End. We want Junkanoo Rushes. We want to have activities to bring in revenues in West Grand Bahama. We want to mitigate the cost of living. We want our own ambulance. We want our own fire station. We want the normal things that we should have as a town. We are the biggest settlement in Grand Bahama, and we don't have the things that we need to survive. These are some of the things that we want to bring in West Grand Bahama. We want our own addresses. We don't want to have to say, okay, you come around the corner, see Susie John there. We want to have addresses. We want to have slow down signs. We don't have these things. These are things that we really need in West Grand Bahama. In Bimini, there's a plethora of issues, Lincoln. I mean, you want me to start? Because I could go on all day.
Go ahead.
Okay, with Bimini, they have an issue. Pardon me?
Tell them what's happening in Bimini.
Bimini, they have so many issues. They have an issue with the health center. They have an issue with behind the wall with the hotel workers. They're getting treated and abused, and no one is there to represent them. Same issues on Cat Island. These people are being treated horribly, and they need someone to stand up for them. So we're going to put a union in Bimini behind that wall. We're going to have persons there that are going to fight for Bahamians. We're not going to just allow them to continue to go down that dark path. People are being oppressed, man. Bahamians are being oppressed. It's time for us to fight. Bimini healthcare system, we don't have the proper apparatus for these guys to breathe. It's so easy to die in Bimini. We don't have MRIs. We don't have proper oxygen tanks. We don't have respiratory systems. We don't have nothing in Bimini. It is poor. I don't understand how persons can be so impacted and still decide to put on a yellow or red shirt. I don't get it. We have been institutionalized. It's time to break that system. It's time for us to stand up for something more. We are better than that. We are better than that. We can do this. We have one chance at this, Lincoln. We have one chance at this, Bahamas. This is our time. They know it. We are the majority. They see it. They see it every day. We are the 65%, and that's what scares them. All we have to do is go vote.
Yeah. And so some of the things you said, one of our plans, city governance, is going to solve a lot of these problems. And that's because you're going through these stuff because politicians in Nassau don't know what you're going through. And a lot of the instructions and the plans come from New Providence. And this is where the problem is. With city government that we're going to bring to the people, you guys are going to decide what happens in your city, what happens in your district. You're going to be able to put your own budget together, have your own money so that you know what's happening. So all of those things you say you needed in West Grand Bahama, that's done. All right, there's a lot of other social issues going on with Bimini too. We're going to fight for them. We are going to, listen, we're going to have a government that you're going to think is a union. Your government is going to be fighting for you as a people. We're going to confuse you at first because we're going to be fighting for you. You're going to think that the government is the union. We are going to be standing up for the Bahamian people, making sure you get what you deserve. That's what's going to happen in this new Bahamas. What do you think about the motorcade in Grand Bahama yesterday?
I want to tell you a little secret, Lincoln.
Yeah.
The secret is that motorcade was called last minute, likewise.
Yeah.
Now I'm a person of structure. They know that. The motorcade that we're about to have on the 11 is going to be something like they've never seen before. I didn't even activate West Grand Bahama. That was just Marco City.
Wow.
That wasn't even my team. My team wasn't even activated. The motorcade on the 11 is going to be something like you've never seen before. Grand Bahamians are ready.
Wow. Grand Bahamians are ready for the blackout.
They are ready for the blackout.
All right. They know what they've gone through under the PLP. They know what they've gone through under the F&M. You know, the PLP is no hope for them. The FNM
No.
is not good for them. They need a change. So what do you think about the motorcade in Nassau?
Listen, I've been getting calls all day about that motorcade. I was like these guys, the Bahamian people showed that it's time for a change. They really want this change, and that motivated Grand Bahamians. I think that was the icebreaker. And I think on the 11th, we're going to show this country that we're not a third party. I think on the 11th is going to really change the landscape of everything.
Oh yeah, listen. Don't go get too excited now. You cause them lock me up or something. You know, they whenever we threaten them with something big, they like to try to lock me up or do something.
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Bahamas know what? If they lock me up, you all find the station and you all have the rally there.
That's right. That's right.
Station. All right. These fellas tricky. All
yeah,
right?
they're tricky.
Yeah, what can do? The new Bahamas is coming. Yawling and stop it. My
That's
name
right.
is All
That's
right.
right.
Yawling and stop it. So I just want to add. You stay right there. I'm going to add. I want to add Ms. Cooper to the call. Ms. Alberta Cooper.
Hello, everyone. Hello, East Grand Bahama.
Hello, Ms. Alberta Cooper.
I am so happy to be a part of this. I call it not a congregation. I can't find a name for that right now. Because we're gonna be similar to Hurricane Dorian. We're coming from the bottom, we're coming from the top, and we're coming from all four sides. We're coming to conquer. We come to conquer.
Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes.
I love that song.
Yes.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team is here.
Yeah, all is here.
Yeah.
All is here.
You know, they talk down about Bahamians.
Yes.
They talk down about Bahamians like you need to have, you know, big money to be in politics. You need to have been stealing from the country for the last 50 years to qualify to be a politician. Otherwise, they're going to say that you're on the bottom. But I just want them to know that we started from the bottom. Now we're here. We're bringing the bottom to the top in this country. All right, and we're going to transform this country. Ms. Alberta Cooper, for those people who might not know you in East Grand Bahama, you might not have gotten to their door yet. Tell them who you are.
Okay, I'll say it like this. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, they hail from one of the best islands in the Bahamas, Cat Island. My grandparents on my mom's side, on her mother's side, they hail from the little settlement on the north of Grand Bahama called Waterkey. Related to the Heels, they were Heels. The biggest family in the Bahamas are the Heels. If every girl was able to still carry the name Heel, you'd be the biggest family in the Bahamas to deal with. Wow. I've seen some things happen. I've been around for a while, and I've seen the changes on this island. And I've worked with local government. I was an NGC member for the PLP for years. I was chairman for the Young Liberals for years. I working with local government. I get to know the people better.
So you were in the heart of the PLP for all these years. Why did you leave and join the COI?
Let me tell you, because they're just not fair. I've worked with the PLP and been a PLP for more than 40 years. Yes, I'm that old. I've been a PLP for more than 40 years. And they haven't done anything for me. They haven't done anything for East Grand Bahama. Nothing. But I could say this, I could look out and say this is what the PLP has done, or this is what the FNM has done. Nothing. I could put my hand on.
But Brave was busy doing for Cat Island, so he didn't have time to do for East Grand Bahama. You can't fix up Cat Island and East Grand Bahama. Be fair.
Yeah, man, you got to do what you say you could do it. You got to fix all of the Bahamas, not only Cat Island and Grand Bahama. If you was a real man, you mean what you say. You got to stand by your word. That's all you got. And you give your word, that's it.
But he had to do more for East Grand Bahama than he did for Cat Island.
I am telling you, because whatever pictures I've seen of Cat Island, oh my God. It looks, to me, it's worse than when my grandparents were still alive.
Wow. Now, you worked in local government, and that was one of the qualifications and qualities that we loved with you, because you have a lot of local government experience, and because we're going into city government. So you gave a lot of the advice when we were doing the research for city government. You know the laws, you know the practice, you know everything about local government to a T. And that's because you made history in local government. You were tell them what you were the first of.
I was the first woman deputy chief councillor. I was the only woman chief councillor. And I'll be the first woman member of parliament for East Grand Bahama under the CO.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations. I believe in you, and I believe that you deserve to be that.
I believe in those people in East Grand Bahama.
So you've won elections in East Grand Bahama before. People believed in you before to be able to run local government there. And so we're praying for them to believe in you that you can be now the member of parliament. You've rose from deputy chief councillor to chief councillor, being the first woman, and now you're going to be the first female member of parliament. I am so proud of you.
Yes, thank you.
And so they ask us if we have experienced candidates. They ask us if we have qualified candidates. And I just want the Bahamian people to know that we do. And that's why we do this on a daily basis. We were looking for people, real people, who just want to see their country better. And that's why we chose all of you. So how do you feel about the motorcades?
The motorcade was yesterday was excellent. It was awesome. It was awesome, really. Yes.
You see, in Grand Bahama and in Nassau, the people came out on short notice just like that.
Yeah.
That means they were ready.
What I found is when you plan things, something bound to go wrong. When you do it on the spur of the moment, it works out.
Ting wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both went off perfectly, and we're going to plan. We're going to have time to plan the ones for the weekend, and so we're going to do it. We're having a rally in Nassau. We stay in your cars, a drive-in rally, and we're going to have a motorcade before the drive-in rally. We're going to make sure we have refreshments and drinks out there for everybody, and so make sure plan. You know, Stephen Hall is a planner. He likes to plan things to the T. He's a meticulous gentleman. All right, I love him. He's a real true manager, you know. So Stephen, I'll get that together. All right. So I just want to introduce our next candidate, Ms. Crystal Smith. Ms. Smith, welcome. I see her trying to get the internet together. Smith. Ms. Smith is in Marco City. Let's see if we can get her on there. Ms. Smith, you may have to go off and come back on. You may have to go off and come back on. So maybe try that. Try going off and coming back on. That may help you, Ms. Smith. Let's get Ms. Tanya Strawn on there.
Good evening. Good evening, Bahamas. Good evening, everyone.
This is my soldier. This is my warrior who's been holding it down from day one. She was our #1 girl for a very long time down there, fighting from the Enough movement, fighting still from Bahamian Evolution and now Coalition of Independence. And she is a warrior in Grand Bahama, and she is ready to take that next step to stand up and fight for the people of Grand Bahama. Tanya, how are you doing today?
Good evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening, Grand Bahama, and good evening, Central Grand Bahama. I'm glad to be on this show this evening. I'm elated, I should say.
Yes. So last week we talked to our Abaco folks about what they experienced down in Abaco. And this week we're talking to Grand Bahama, to our qualified candidates. And I want to just let you introduce yourself. Now, you have gone to every door in your constituency, and you did that long before election call. This woman was on a rampage from she was nominated and ratified. I mean, she was on a rampage in her constituency, and she was going, I mean, day in and day out. She meant she was going to be the first to cover every door. And she was the first countrywide to cover every single door, and she's doing it again. And so, Tanya, tell them a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Latanya Ferguson Strong. My father would have been Edward Ferguson. My mother would have been Yvonne McPhee. It would have been a maiden last name, and her marriage last name would have been McCartney Cornish. They both hailed from, my father hailed from Exuma, and his parents was from Crooked Island and Auckland. My mother parents was from Andros, South Andros it is, where Lil Creek would have been our home. And my background would have stemmed from being a hotelier. I worked in the hotel industry for many years, and also a small business person. I also had a little experience in the tax control business, so running my own business, it was exciting, but I realized quickly that just being an average person that is out there just hustling to make my life better was not just what I needed, but I had a call that I needed to answer. And so that call started when I joined the Enough movement some years ago, where I began to understand our country and the disenfranchisement or being disenfranchised by the government concerning our natural resources and us not benefiting as Bahamians. Understanding that our government would have put together a sovereign wealth fund that was not in the best interest of the Bahamian people. And I quickly realized that it was time for someone to stand up for the generations to come, that they would be benefactors to that which we were our rights were infringed on by the government, successive governments, I should say. And so I decided that I wanted to take this fight a little bit further, where I joined the team of Bahamian Evolution earlier this year, and now I am the candidate for Central Grand Bahama under the Coalition of Independence.
Wow, I just want to say that I am proud of you. Thank you for the stance that you've taken and that you continue to take. I want to touch back to Albertha Cooper. I remember that Dorian affected your constituency in a major way in East Grand Bahama. Tell us how your recovery has been in East Grand Bahama.
In East Grand Bahama, the recovery has been very, very slow, not by the government, but for all those NGOs, especially Rotary, that have helped some persons to get their homes back. We still have persons in East Grand Bahama who still need homes. Some are still living in tents. Some don't have any home at all. They have to really relocate to Freeport, which is also going to cause a change with the voting process, because they won't be able to vote in East Grand Bahama because they've been out of East Grand Bahama now for like 2 years.
Right.
And I am disappointed with the way they were handled. And all I'm saying to those persons in East Grand Bahama, hear me today. Starting with the children, for us in this Bahamas who do not know East Grand Bahama, we have children in East Grand Bahama who have to get up out of their bed like 5 o'clock in the morning to get on a boat to go to school. Tide changes. Sometimes you got a high tide, sometimes you got a low tide. And they have to get on a bus from McLeanstown to get into school. While most of us on the mainland, we can lay down, our children can lay down and sleep until 7:30, 8 o'clock and get to school on time. For those in the East, when you vote this election, don't vote because you don't like Albertha. You got to think about your children and your grandchildren. If you look at the schools in East Grand Bahama, Lincoln, there is no school in East Grand Bahama that's operable. And that is very poor. This is September. School reopens in September and every school is broken up. 2 years later, and there are no schools in operation. Some of the buildings they just need to be pushed down. It's awful. And I cry shame on this government because of things like that. They are our children. Some years ago, as a chief counselor, I sent a proposition to the government asking them to give us that property at Gold Rock, the missile base, for a high school, primary school, trade school, dormitories, and all of that, so that children who live in areas like Sweetens Key and McLeanstown, all of East Grand Bahama, that they could either stay in the school all week, and then they can go home to their families on the weekend. The children are not able to take part in the extracurricular. I mean, how many years, East Grand Bahama? How many years you got to go through this? How many years you have to go through this? You have to look out for your children, look out for your family. If it's one thing you need to vote for, you look at East Grand Bahama, you don't have a proper clinic. Since Dorian, we got these little makeshift clinics with nothing in it. You don't have no kind of equipment, that's for sure. It's like East Grand Bahama is in a world by themselves. It's in a world by themselves. And that's the reason I run, because I want to see something happen good for East Grand Bahama. We've not been given our fair share. We've not.
Now,
We've not.
I have to say this before I bring Crystal on and introduce Crystal. I want to say this quickly. Someone made a comment. I just happened to be able to look at while you're talking, asking me, they're saying that I want to be PM, but I'm talking about Brave. Why am I worried about Brave? I need to talk about what we're going to do, you know. Basically, they're telling me to not, you know, worry about Brave or what he is doing, etc. I want to make this clear to the Bahamian people. You don't seem to understand governance. The government of the Bahamas is not Minnis and his cabinet. That's the executive. The government is both the majority and minority in the House of Assembly. It is both of them. The opposition is a part of government. You don't seem to understand that. They are a part of government, not on the outside. That's why they have the Public Accounts Committee that can hold government's feet to the fire. They are the ones whose job internationally is to keep government in check. They can subpoena any document. They can summons any member of parliament or any human being in the Bahamas, including the Prime Minister and the Governor General. We keep forgetting that. Why do you focus on Philip Brave Davis and Dr. Minnis? Because we're paying both of them to do a job. Philip Brave Davis works for me. Philip Brave Davis works for you. He is the leader of Her Majesty's Royal Opposition. He has a job to do. His job is to oppose the majority, to make sure that their foot is kept to the fire. But he has not been doing a good job at that. And he wants a promotion to Prime Minister. So why do I have something to say about Brave? Because we're paying him. And this is why our country is in the state it's in. We have oppositions that sit down and do nothing for the people. All of these things that are happening, all of these things that you're complaining about Minnis, what did you do? That's what I want to know. When Minnis put these draconian measures on us, what did Philip Brave Davis say? Just do whatever Minnis says. Oh, you can't campaign without being vaccinated? Just do what Minnis says. Just do what Minnis says. Brave, are you Minnis's lackey? Do you work for Minnis or do you work for the people is the question that you need to answer. And so why do I talk about Brave? He works for us. Don't tell me he's not in government. He is. He's a part of the government. Any member of parliament can table a bill. And the opposition has the power to keep the government's foot to the fire. Right before election was called, he wrote a letter saying, you know, with the PAC that he want to know this, he want to know that. That's not how the PAC works. You form a committee, you summons the government or whoever you want to, and you subpoena documents. Don't tell Minnis you want to see this document or that. You summons him and let him sit in front of you. I only need one term in the House of Assembly, you know. After that, the whole Bahamian public is going to see the power of a real MP in that house. Only one term, and we will never go back to the old Bahamas again. Whether that is as Prime Minister or as an MP, they are going to see how we will keep the government in check. But we are going for the whole hog. And we're going to show you how to operate as a government for the people. So don't tell me, don't focus on Brave, who has been collecting our money, collecting all of the concessions, customs duties concessions, a bodyguard, paid for bodyguards, a vehicle, and all these other perks. And you're going to tell me, why am I focused on Brave? Because I tell Brave every time, stand up for the Bahamian people. I don't criticize him on his private life. I don't care about his private life. I tell him to stand up for the Bahamian people. Is that so wrong? That's what we paid him for. Or tell him give us a refund, man, because he has not been doing a good job. We're going to bring Crystal on here. Crystal Smith. Let's see if we got some better internet there. Crystal Smith, welcome. It is so good to have you. And I want to thank all of you for coming on here on such short notice and coming all dolls up and and looking so good and sharp and professional. I know especially as women, you gotta get some notice. But I call them, I think, a few hours before and tell them, listen, y'all up tonight.
Yes.
See, this when you go in government, you gotta be ready.
Yes.
Something's gonna pop up, something's gonna happen, and you gotta be there and you gotta know what's going on. All right, you gotta be there for the Bahamian people. Just as the example that I showed you, when they call me, I come, I show up.
Yes.
So we gotta be there for the Bahamian people, and we gotta be ready for any circumstances. So thank you all for being available. We got just a few short days before election, so we are getting it all in. All right, Sister, you're a young person that decided. How old are you?
I'm 28.
You're 28. You're a very young person, and you decided to run in this next election. Most young people only care about what Nicki Minaj and Cardi B and Jay-Z and them doing. They don't really care about politics. A lot of them, I won't say most, a lot of them. But you decided that you wanted to represent your community. Why?
I see myself as someone who is extremely sacrificial. Okay, very passionate and committed with a high level of focus and determination. And like you said, I know a lot of young persons aren't interested in politics. However, I'm here to be the change of that, because there's a lot of things I feel as though we as a people ought to be paying attention to. For an example, the PNP implemented VAT at 7.5%. They told us to bite the bullet or face the consequences later, yet their administration left without putting anything on the national debt. The FNM assumed power, they upped the VAT to 12%, yet they're about to leave administration, and again, nothing has been placed on the national debt. And so these are the concerns that I want to bring to the youth of the country, because although you may not be interested in politics, you have to reside here, and these things impact you on your everyday life, on your food prices, on your gas prices, so we ought to be paying attention. And so that's why I decided to get into politics, to wake up the youth we are going to be the change.
Wow. Awesome. You sound extremely intelligent. I love the words you just said. And why Marco City? You're going up against a candidate in Pintard. He doesn't have a good track record in opposition. He was, part of it some things. But he seems to some sort of redeem himself a little bit. If you're going up against him, why Marco City to go up against Pintard?
Well, I've resided in the Marco City constituency for all 28 years of my life, and sadly, there hasn't been much improvement in the constituency. And so rising to the stage of politics for me is just improving my community. It's all about the empowerment of my people. The goal is to make the people of Marco City self-sufficient, and we can do this today by tackling the issues to prevent them from coming down the road to put the youth at a disadvantage tomorrow. And so I would like to introduce programs that would help the youth to move forward and strengthen them in the areas that they're best at.
Awesome. I love that. I just want to say to all four of you that we also decided to nominate. Make sure your mic is muted. Tell Alberta she needs to mute her mic. Make sure your mic is muted, or producer, you can mute her mic. Ladies and gentlemen, we also decided that we're going to have 5 seats in Marco City, but there's one person that we decided not to go up against, not to run against. So we decided to actually endorse him and basically bring him into the fold. And that's because he was the person who stood up with us when we were fighting against the government as it relates to the bill for Bahamians to benefit from our natural resources and our aragonite. He was the person who stood up for us and with us. He was the person behind the scene encouraging and giving advice the whole time. And he stood when other MPs didn't want to risk themselves. He decided that he was going to take that risk and stand with us. He decided that he would put his political career at jeopardy to stand with us. And that's Mr. Frederick McAlpine. And so he is going to be standing with the 4 of you. We've endorsed him. He's accepted our endorsement. He's running as an independent, of course, but he's accepted our endorsement. And we believe that with the 5 of you, that we can and we will take Grand Bahama. How do you feel? I think everyone is muted. I think they muted all of you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I feel as though the people, especially of Grand Bahama, we're ready for change. We've been back and forth with the PLP for 48 years, and like I said, not much has changed. And as a result, the youth of the country are leaving. Everyone that can afford to leave has already left or is planning to leave. And that is something we all should be paying attention to. You know, we don't want to continue with the same system that has plagued us for so many years. What do we as people have to lose? We never really gained anything before. And so when I speak, I like to encourage people to let's try something new. We have absolutely nothing to lose. And I feel like the 5 of us, we're ready to do our jobs and govern from day one.
Awesome, awesome. I believe that too. I believe that too. Someone made a comment just now, so you can't trust him, Lincoln. He publicly said that his vote is expensive. They pulled up an old video of Michael Pine saying something to that effect. I think he was being facetious talking to the FNM when he said that. People say stuff. I'm a person who believes in loyalty. If someone is going to be disloyal to me, so be it. I lose nothing. But I believe in loyalty, and I stick with loyalty. And I think all of you who have been working with me for some time now, you know that. You've experienced that with me. I believe in loyalty. And if I'm loyal to you, I stick with you. But I think many of you here on this live have experienced that. I don't break my loyalty. Have you experienced that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. I've had my experience.
Yeah. And so once we decide that we're a family and we're going to do stuff together, we're going to do that together. I will take a bullet for you. I will go down in the ship with you. That is how I operate. Many people who have not been around me, who just sit around listening to rumors and these stuff that, you know, these lies they make up every week, they have a different picture. But people who've been around me, they know that loyalty comes first. And so if a man sticks out his neck and did what really excel, something that benefited the Bahamian people, benefited our organization, I'm going to be loyal. If he decides to be disloyal, then that's on him. Then at the point that he becomes disloyal, then he hurts himself. He doesn't hurt us. Disloyal people don't hurt you. They hurt themselves. Always remember that. So never be afraid of disloyal people, ever. All right? And so that's my stance on it. I'm going to be loyal, and because loyalty and unity is the most important of all things. And I want to say this to you because of that comment that they said. All right? It is reportedly that allegedly Brave Davis has given a lot of money out there to a lot of people to get them to turn on wherever they are or come with him of whatever reason, you know. And a lot of money is being offered and given out. And so some of our other candidates offers have been made to them by persons. And just as recently, Trevor Green, our South Andreas candidate, they called him from but they used a North Carolina number, but they called him to talk to him to see how much he would be willing to take to drop out and to join the PLP. And of course, when he finished speaking in tongues and rebuking them, they was glad to get off that phone. But I just want you all to know that the struggle is real for all Bahamians, and that some money is going to be offered because there's some people who don't want their gravy train to end. There's billions of dollars at stake, and Bahamians want to know that they can trust y'all, that y'all can be loyal. So tell me right now, because I hear some $5,000 bribes going out, and I know, listen, that's a lot of money right there, $5,000, you know. But in terms of the new Bahamas and bringing this thing to fruition, are y'all all in, or are y'all into brave bribes?
Lincoln, I'm all in. I'm all in. This is less about politics for me. from my standpoint, and more about the empowerment of my people, regardless of your political affiliations or your political preferences. I feel like at the end of the day, we're all one people, and that we all should be able to benefit from our natural birthright, not just a selective group of people. And so my fight is for my people. So I'm all in.
Wow. Alberta, the Bahamas wants to know. The money or the New
I am
Bahamas?
all in. Oh no, the New Bahamas, the money need to last for a little while. You know, I went to parliamentary one night while the registration was still going on, and the PLP were there bringing all these chairs and stuff. They said, oh no, you got to work for the PLP. They bring, see that they bring the chairs and they ride the wave with Brave. I say, yeah, go ahead. If you think it's Hawaii 5-0, go ahead and ride the wave with Brave.
Oh, Lord. Listen, the younger people don't know what a white Bible is. I grew up on that.
Welcome, Dano.
Welcome, Dano. All right. Welcome, Dano. They could be playing Welcome, Dano in the New Bahamas. Because they could be playing answering too. Stefan.
Yes.
Fun, I mean.
Hey, Lincoln, what you saying?
Listen, this want to know.
I said this a while ago, and I would say it again. This is for country. This one is for our lives. $5,000 isn't enough. It's going to take much more of that. It's going to take persons now to stand up for what they believe in. We will not be bought out no more. Enough of it. We are standing up this lap. The majority of us decides to stand up for country.
Yes.
We won't be bought out.
Yeah. Yeah. Latanya Strawn. The Bahamas people want to know. Brave and this little couple dollars or the New Bahamas?
So Lincoln, this for me is personal. When I say personal, this for me spells the Bahamian people, a lot of us, we don't know how to fight. We don't know what fight we're in. My stance is for those that cannot fight, that doesn't understand the fight, and isn't concerned about the fight. My stance is for them. So I said, I cannot be bought because this is greater than just saying I came forward to present for politics, but this is about fighting for our country. I like the word for the generations to come. They can't stand up for themselves. And so they can't be bought. And this is my stance. We cannot be bought.
So Grand Bahama is not for sale.
No, not for sale.
No.
I would say this to all of you, and I would say this in front of the whole Bahamas who is watching right now, spending their evening with us. I am willing to fight for the New Bahamas if I have to stand by myself. I am willing to be the last man standing. I am willing to be the one, Samson, to go in there and to break those pillars, even if I have to sacrifice myself. But I know that I am not alone. I trust these men and women. And sometimes people fall weak. But we want you to know and understand that what Philip Brave Davis did shows you it is a perfect picture of corruption. And this is how they work. They believe that we are all for sale. And they believe that by paying you some money to go in their motorcade or to walk with them, that they can buy you. Don't let them buy you with $100 in a shirt or $200 to walk with them for a week. Don't let them buy you. Because when they get in, you can't complain that you didn't see them or that they did nothing for you because they bought you in advance. You were prepaid. So you cannot then complain, oh, they didn't do nothing for me. No. They bought you. And you sealed it with your X. You signed your X when you accepted their money, their filthy lucre. You signed and sealed it and said, for that $50 you gave me in a t-shirt, I am now indebted to you. And you don't have to do nothing for me because you bought me. No one can buy me. Talk to your family and friends. There are some people who have no choice. Because of the way that they've operated this government, we are always left to be beggars every election time. That is their trick to keep us as beggars. And so some people don't have a choice. They just need that money. So they're going to wear the yellow shirts And I want to thank all of those Bahamians who, as we were passing their PLP motorcades or their PLP headquarters while we were riding, who in front of all of their PLPs were throwing up the fist and saying, change is here, in their PLP clothes, because they know what time it is. They may be wearing that shirt for some dollars. They may be working around at headquarters for some dollars, but they know deep in their heart, change is here. You saw them on camera yesterday at the motorcade, unabashedly and unafraid, as they saw us and saw that monster motorcade throw their fists in the air with their PLP shirts on, saying, change is here, change is here. We just want to thank all of you for standing up. We understand. Wherever you can, take their money. But don't think for one instance that taking their money means that you owe them anything. No one has bought you. They want to come to you and say, okay, I'm going to give you this money now. You give me your support. And they want you to say, yeah, because they believe that you're not going to be held to that. But just like the politicians can change their mind, you change your mind. You tell them, yeah, that was my money anyway. You cannot buy me with my money. If I'm selling a car, you can't buy that car from me with my money. That doesn't even make sense. And that's what's been happening. This money they're coming to you with, showing off that they have money, that's yours. That's our money. Wake up, Bahamas. So I just want to say to Grand Bahama, we have some amazing plans for Grand Bahama. They call a snap election. We wanted to do and show you much more. We wanted to show you what we're actually going to do with that hotel. We don't plan on selling that hotel anymore. We're going to do some things with that hotel, including the water park. We're already invested in it. Let's keep it. Our tourism company that we're going to form, so it's going to be run outside of government. That hotel is going to be one of the things that we grab onto. We're going to create some activities around it so that we revitalize Grand Bahama. Our cruise ship is going to be going to Grand Bahama, and so that's going to transform what happens there. We're going to put another dock down there so that persons don't have to come to the dock in Freeport and spend all that money. There's going to be a dock outside of Freeport that boats can actually go to save a lot of problems. Stefan, tell them some more of what we talk, but I don't want to be the one to say all this stuff.
Yeah, so awesome, Lincoln. We also talk about another harbor that we want to put in the West Grand Bahama area with a walking dock. It's called a floating dock. So it's going to be out in the ocean. It's going to be something that attracts tourism to the festivities of that bayshore side that we want to do. Also, we want to build another port of entry. Well, not build it, revitalize it. It's in the West End. We want to revitalize another port of entry because we already have an airport there that is not doing nothing. It's just dormant. We want to revitalize that so that we have another means of entry to the country, because anyone that controls our port of entry controls our economy.
That is awesome, awesome. And of course, in terms of the Port Authority, we have said this before and we'll say it again. We're going to make them an offer they can't refuse. I'm going to leave it at that. But we want you to trust us on this. We are going to make them an offer that they can't refuse. The Port Authority is suffering from a lack of vision. The Port Authority is suffering from a lack of vision. We need to save Grand Bahama by doing something with the Port Authority. And so whether we have to partner with them or remove them totally, we're going to get in there, and there's going to be a change that relates to the Port Authority. All right? And so you're going to see some major changes. We're not going to announce certain things ahead of time, but as soon as we get in, that's one of the first meetings we're going to have. As soon as we get in. That first week, no time for celebrations, it's time for work. We can celebrate all that night because curfew is going to be over. And that next day, we're moving that Columbus statue. All right? And symbolically, we're going into the casino so that we get rid of inequality in our Bahamas, to make sure Bahamians can gamble and own casinos if that's what they want. And the next day is going to be a day of prayer. So we're going to go back to God. And then we're going to the Port Authority because we need to have a conversation. All right? And so this is what we can expect. I want to touch on, we're going to open this for question and answers for persons in Grand Bahama or elsewhere. If you have any questions for myself or for any of you, That's what good governance should do. Open themselves to questioning at all times, not treat people like the PLP did, including Brave Davis. He wouldn't take questions from anybody when he was deputy prime minister. I think he's prime minister. And so the same thing the minister did, we're not going to have that. So we're going to give people a chance to question all of you, and you're going to submit yourselves to their questioning. I want to start with this statement that someone made here as we open for questioning. I'm probably going to need help with some of these questions. They're going to be moving too fast. So Mrs. Lincoln has been a police, a gospel singer, a pastor of a congregation, a local businessman, and now trying to be the PM. It really makes you think, LOL, this should be interesting to watch on September 16th. Let me tell you something. Everything that you've just said and more, I've actually been much more than what you've said just now. That's just some of the things, you know. That's what makes me the most qualified prime minister this country has ever had. David couldn't be a shepherd forever. He couldn't be a musician forever. He couldn't be a soldier forever. It was all training for where he was really meant to be. In the palace, governing his country and fighting for his people. Everything you do in your life is training for something that is to come. This isn't just for me or to justify myself. This is advice to you. Wherever you are right now in your life is training for something that is to come. Some people are meant to be one thing forever. Other people are meant to train. I have a lot of experience, and that makes me more qualified than Celine and Finland. How those foreigners and foreign investors and those Aragonite people outdid him, that wouldn't happen in the New Bahamas because I have that experience. I've been a manufacturer in China. I'm an author. Go on Amazon.com and look up my book and see what the world has to say about my book. Some people say it's the best book that they have ever read. I'm not bragging, I'm a humble person. But I'm telling you that I am more than what you even listed there. Go on Amazon.com and search Lincoln Bain. My book is called Identity Crisis, which our country has right now. It's an identity crisis. And there are people from around the world. It had its time as a bestseller. There are people from around the world who say it's the best book they've ever read. Go and look for yourself. It teaches you about yourself. And so I could stay here for quite some time. I've lived 10 lifetimes. And so I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of success and I have a lot of failure. Failure is the way to success. Michael Jordan said it himself. He's missed hundreds of final shots. He's lost hundreds of games. He's missed over 9,000 shots. Missed. But all of his failures led to his success. I want to tell you, man, about Abraham Lincoln, who I studied very early. And I'm saying this to inspire all of you. I'm going to take a minute to inspire you. Because this is the kind of government that we're going to have, an inspirational one. There's a man called Abraham Lincoln who never quit. And I was so amazed when I was named after him. I wanted to study him and see who he was and what he did. This man had one success in his life, and that was being president. Everything else he did was a failure, basically. But he never gave up. He's probably the greatest example of persistence in world history. About somebody who didn't quit. He was born into poverty, and Lincoln was faced with defeat throughout his life. He lost 8 elections. Yes, 8 elections he lost. He twice failed as a business. It failed in business and offered and suffered from a nervous breakdown. They say he went crazy. He didn't come out of his house for 6 months. He failed. He went bankrupt. He could have quit many times, but he didn't. And because he didn't quit, he became one of the greatest presidents in American history. I think he was the greatest. Lincoln was a champion, and he never gave up. And this is a sketch of his road to the White House. In 1816, his family was forced out of their home. He had to work to support them. In 1818, his mother died. In 1831, he failed in business. In 1832, he ran for state legislature and lost. In 1832, he also lost his job, wanting to go into law school, but couldn't get in. He didn't even qualify, failed at that. In 1833, he borrowed some money from a friend to begin a business, and by the end of the year, he was bankrupt. He spent the next 17 years of his life paying off this debt. In 1834, he ran for state legislature again and won. Remember, while he was in debt and bankrupt. In 1835, he was engaged to be married. His fiancée died, and his heart was broken. In 1836, he had a total nervous breakdown and was in bed for 6 months. In 1838, he sought to become Speaker of State Legislature, but was defeated. In 1840, he sought to become elector. He was defeated. In 43, he ran for Congress and lost. In 46, he ran for Congress again. This time he won, went to Washington and did a kind of good job. In 48, he ran for re-election to Congress and lost. In 49, he sought the job of land officer in his home state and was rejected. In 54, he ran for Senate of the United States and lost. In 56, he sought the vice presidential nomination at his party's national convention, and he got less than 100 votes. In 58, he ran for U.S. Senate again, and lost. And so, with all of that failure, he then decided in 1860, he decided to run for president. I don't know who put this stuff in his mind head, but he won. I want to say this to my candidates, and I want to say this to every Bahamian listening to me. When people start to bring up your past and bring up your failures, listen, as they throw the stones, you use them to build your house. As they throw the stones, you use them as blocks to build your business. As they throw their stones, those same walls are going to be the barrier that they build that they cannot cross over. Bahamians, they tell you every day that you are nothing. They tell you that you cannot accomplish anything. They try to use your past against you. But I've come to tell each and every one of you under the sound of my voice today that a new Bahamas is coming where every single Bahamian is going to have the opportunity to be anything they want to be, including president of the Republic of the Bahamas. And so I just want to take that second to address that person who was speaking about all of the experience that I have, all of the successes and failures. I don't think that they know they're even 1% of the things that I've done and the things that I've accomplished in this country and in others. But of course, I want to let them put questions to you. Guys, if you have questions for us right now, if there's people who don't understand the platform, there's people who don't understand anything about this, if you want to know about these people, if you have some questions for our Freeport crew, our Freeport candidates, the next members of Parliament for Grand Bahama in the blackout, this is your chance. So ask some questions, all right? So there we go. All right, good. We got to get these questions rolling. Can you see the questions? I need help. Someone says, Stephen Hall, if I'm a registered voter in Nassau, but I'm working in Bimini, is there anything that I can do to place my vote? They ask you, so you got to answer.
Well, if you're registered in Nassau, parliamentary office made me aware that you would have to return to Nassau to actually vote. If you're registered in Nassau, you would have to be registered in Bimini to vote in Bimini. So whatever on that card, whatever address it says, whichever poll it says, that's where you would have to vote. Sadly, that's the circumstances that we're under now.
All right, and that is correct. The next question, someone has here, this is from Lamar Griffin. This Lamar was actually one of our team members who worked with Wellington Roberts in Grand Bahama. That's him, right? Yeah. Yeah, he worked with Wellington in Grand Bahama. So he says, why are you stuck on Brave? That's my question for Lincoln. If minutes motorcade is so big. I don't understand the question. When he said, why am I stuck on Brave? I'm not stuck on Brave. Brave is my employee. he works for me. He works for you. And so if Brave is failing at his job, which he has been for the last 4.5 years as leader of the opposition, he's not stood up for the Bahamian people. He's not held Minnis' foot to the fire, not kept him to account, not had one select committee on Dr. Minnis and the activities that he was doing, not made him account for the loans that he borrowed, the 5 point something billion dollars that he has borrowed, not made him account for the 250 million that he borrowed from the IMF recently, the other 100 million that they just got months ago. Brave has not held them to account for anything. The money that was donated for Dorian, Brave has not held them to account for that. That is his job. That's what we are paying him for. And so just like Minnis' feet need to be held to the fire, Brave's feet need to be held to the fire. We need to understand civics. We need to understand the law. We need to understand how this works. And this is why we're going to teach physics in school, so that no politicians, not us or any other politician, can be in there failing and not doing their job and then not be held to account. Philip Brave Davis has failed as leader of the opposition. Minnis has failed as prime minister of this country. Don't tell me that that Philip Brave Davis was not a leader or not in charge. He was the leader of the opposition. That is a paid job that gives you a diplomatic passport, bodyguards, an office paid for by the government. We paid for his office and his staff. So don't tell me that Brave Davis should not be questioned. He has failed the Bahamian people. So every time Brave Davis or the PLP says something about Minnis, they also failed because it was their job to do something about it, not sit there and do nothing, and then they just vote us in so that we could rape the country while Minnis sits down and does nothing. That is why I comment on Brave just as much as I comment on Minnis. Next question. I hear you blowing your horn out there as you pass in the headquarters. Someone says, at any crisis, I just started reading this book on chapter 2. It's changing my life. Thank you, Rika. Please give me a call once you finish reading it, or send me a text. Let me know what you think.
Kevin Mossa, can you speak on the free trade on creating a new free zone in Grand Bahama?
Okay, so I'm gonna let Stefan start. He talks about free trade and the free trade zone. Can we talk about the free trade and the free trade zone in Grand Bahama? Stefan, you can start that and I'll finish it.
Okay, yeah, so the free trade in Grand Bahama, it has a lot to do with the situation with the port, right? So the port, when we enter Grand Bahama, you're paying more than one taxes. So you're paying more than one tax when you enter Grand Bahama. We need to mitigate that with our free trade. We want persons to come in and be able to trade off. Hold on one second, sorry. My internet.
Well, I think we lost Stefan just now. All right, so I'll start the answer. And I asked him because we worked on a lot of that plan together. I think we lost him, but we'll try to get him back in there. All right, we're going to turn Grand Bahama into a free trade zone to rival Panama and to rival Curacao. All right, we believe that with our close proximity to America, our free trade zone is much more valuable than theirs. We're going to allow and give subsidies for Bahamians to go into warehousing, to where persons will travel from around the world to Grand Bahama to be able to shop and buy discounted duty-free items brought in from anywhere in the world, and like happens in Panama. But of course, they're going to be able to do it here. There's companies in America, like a Walmart, for example, that will be able to store their stuff in the free trade zone, their products in the free trade zone, and keep it there duty free until it's time to transport it over to America, so that they don't have to pay the duty immediately when they get their stuff. So they can store it there. So a lot of countries do stuff like this, and so they're gonna have the option to do that. And they do it with the oil now, and that's why the oil companies are there. All right, so we have some major plans for the free trade zone. We don't want to say everything because there's some negotiations that we have to go into from week 1, and we'll keep you up to date with that. All right, next question.
Jessica Russell asks, what are your plans to correct this nonsense of persons having to travel into Nassau for cancer treatment?
They're talking about cancer treatment and persons having to travel into Nassau for cancer treatment. Those days are over. There are going to be hospitals on every island. Initially, there's going to be a hospital ship, a floating hospital in the Southern Islands, where they're going to have all of the treatment necessary. We are trying to push people out of Nassau, not literally, but encourage people to exodus Nassau. There's going to be mass exodus of New Providence and people going back into the Family Islands. And we're going to put things in place to encourage people to go back to the Family Islands. And we're going to develop the Family Islands and make sense to be there. And in doing that, we're going to have to build up hospitals for them and other things. And so you won't have to come to Nassau to do a surgery. You're going to be able to do that from where you are. Cancer treatment and other treatments you're going to be able to do no matter where you are. But we're going to spread this population out. Go ahead.
Jermaine Bates Lundy asks, what is the plan for having the Hawksbill Creek Agreement eradicated to make living for us Grand Bahamians as far as obtaining property much easier in the port area?
Well, it's a plan for us, Hawksbill Creek Agreement, that's what I heard, and to eradicate it so that Grand Bahamians can benefit. I think that's what he's trying to say. The Hawksbill Creek Agreement, as I said, we're going to make them an offer they can't refuse. All right? And so I don't want to give full details on what exactly we're going to do because elections are very close. But we're going to give them an offer they can't refuse. The Hawksbill Creek Agreement had certain intentions. A lot of those things were not kept in that agreement. But again, we're going to make them an offer they can't refuse. And the Hawksbill Creek Agreement is going to go to the people of Grand Bahama. Those people who have lived and worked in Grand Bahama, who were victims of being in slavery, while others made all of the money from Grand Bahama. The Port Authority is now going to belong to you as a people. I think that makes much more sense in what's happening now. As a people, that's going to belong to you. We have to change. People who are suffering from cancer because of the industrialization without dealing with things properly, this is going to change. Right? You are going to now benefit from everything that happens in Grand Bahama. We're going to make them an offer they can't refuse. Next question. All right, so on 16th is the election. On the 17th, we remove the Columbus statue. That's Friday the 17th, we remove the Columbus statue. We have a big celebration with that. On Saturday the 18th, the Bahamian people are going into the casino with me, and we're going to end discrimination against Bahamians. You should not be discriminated against because of your place of origin, according to the Constitution. But they allow us to be discriminated against because the Constitution also tells them that as it relates to gaming, they can do that. But on the 18th, we're going to go into the casino and we're going to end discrimination against Bahamians. The 19th, which is a Sunday, is a national day of prayer for all of us, a national day of prayer. On the 28th, Monday morning, we're going to need a meeting with the Port Authority. Starting to say the schedule, you all could write that schedule down and make sure you all don't miss it. So once they say blackout on the 16th, on the 17th, we got a date with Columbus statue. On the 18th, we got a date with the casino. Now Bahamians will be able to own banks and own casinos and anything else in this country, hotels. On the 19th is a national day of prayer. That's a Sunday. On the 20th, we need to talk to the Port Authority. So that's showing you that that's the first Monday that we get into office. That's our priority. Of course, we're going to have the officials swearing in and official everything else. but we can't wait for that. We got to get on the move from day one. All right. So next question.
Daphne Fernanda. This is for Latanya. What do you intend to do with the Xanadu Hotel?
The Xanadu Hotel, I inspected it. I have all of. Say again? Oh, sorry, that's for Tanya. Sorry about that. I was reading and talking. Tanya, go ahead.
Well, my intentions is to actually speak with those persons which will be owners of the property to see how best we could eradicate the condition of that property and look into governance by way of how we could network with the partnership of the owners and governance to see how best we could resolve the issues about it being a tourist attraction property. So my biggest thing is to eradicate the look of that property and to uplift it by cleaning it up. That's the first thing.
And so I'll inform all of you that some research has been put into this in terms of the Xanadu Hotel and the whole Bahamian area. The entire Bahamian area is up for sale. And so that's one of the areas that we want to initially put some of our housing, our green housing community. There are properties that are owned by private individuals, but there's also properties that are still available. There's also some golf clubs in there, and this whole property includes the hotel that closed down. It's at the Royal Oasis. Xanadu is on this property, although it's being sold separately. We've already walked we've walked Xanadu and looked at its condition. And in terms of it, I have the documents on it. We've not released this. We're going to release this. We were going to release this with our plans for this entire community. So whenever I tell you that we've done research, so when it relates to our plans, we have done. I'm trying to see if I could make this so you can see it. I guess I better download it. I think that'll be better. We have plans for Bahamia. We have plans for Xanadu. The condition that Xanadu is in, like she said it in such a way that she wants to eradicate the look of it. But in terms of the look of the Xanadu, we just need to destroy that building. There's not much else you can do with that building. Let me see. I wish we could have put it in the software for you to see it. But this is the documentation of the Xanadu Hotel. Just put only me up on the screen for a minute, then you can bring them back in so you can see this clearly. I think I missed to open up something. Yeah, so I just want you to understand that when we say we do research, we do thorough research. So this is all of the documentation on the Xanadu.
It's switch again. It's switch again.
Hold on. There we go. Hold on, wait. There we go. Maybe I should hold it up like this. Better? Okay. And so we have already gotten all of the documentation on the Xanadu Hotel. So Grand Bahama, when we say that we have a plan for you, Greg Davis doesn't have a plan for you. He's not done this kind of research for you. We've gotten all the information on the Xanadu Hotel, everything about it. I'm sorry, the ring light is complicating it. But all of the information on the Xanadu
Open something. You open something again. Yeah.
I'm sorry. But in another live, we'll make sure we have this on there. But everything is right here on all of the information on Xanadu, the surrounding properties, everything that was done. We have already done all of the research. When we say that we've been working for the last several months, I want you to understand that we have been working, okay? We have been working every area of this country, and we are ready to govern this country from day one. Your candidates were not lazy. Your candidates were putting in the work and putting in the research. And yes, we were trying to put all these documents into one document for you, a plan, like how the PLP them up their manifesto, but their manifesto has no research. It has bullet points. We put in the real research to see how Bahamians can benefit. So you asked about Xanadu. That's the research that we have on Xanadu. We're going to have to transform it, transform Xanadu. We have to remove it, use that space for something different. It's a very interesting space that there's a lot that we would have, there's a lot that we want to do with that space. But of course, there's only so much that we can do. You also have all of the documentation, the floor plans, the mapping, everything of the Bahamia resort, the Bahamia community. And I just want you to know that we have full plans for some of our housing projects to be in Bahamia. All right, so I won't go into depth with that. I can also show you the documentation on that. But I want to, because of time, we just want to keep moving. We just want you to know, Bahamian people, that your Bahamian evolution, your Coalition of Independence team has been putting in that work for you. When everything we say, we've researched thoroughly. We have researched. We have sat down on any area of this country, from Inagua in the south and Modern Salt and everything that's going on around there, we have researched thoroughly for you. So that when we get into this, when we get in charge of this country, we're going to show you vision that's going to transform this country, not based on hearsay, not based on anything else, but based on the simple fact that we've put in the research. Next record.
Brooke Davis asks, government spends millions of dollars on transporting prisoners back and forth to Grand Bahama. Any plans on another prison in Grand Bahama?
Yes, there will be a prison in Grand Bahama. All right, so that's a simple answer. There will be a prison. There's a lot of things that we were in the process of drafting for all of you. Of course, the election was called, and so we have to just go with the actual architectural renderings and to make this get done. Grand Bahama has a big population, and so we want to make sure that persons are not disenfranchised, having to go back and forth and being put on the plane. That doesn't make any sense. I used to be one of the police officers who used to have to escort at Central Police Station, get on the plane with these prisoners from Nassau. And this has been going on from the 90s when I was a police officer, that I experienced it. It was going on before that, but they had to spend so much money on these airline tickets. It would be me and a partner and several prisoners. So that's a ticket for each one of them. That doesn't make sense. And it was every day, basically. So that's going to change right away. All right, next question. All right, and so, like I said, we have all our documentations for Grand Bahama. We've researched every single thing. We know the companies that are making money there. We know the companies that want to come in there. We've done the research, Bahamia and everything else. And so if you're ready for change, Bahamas, let's go with vision, man. Let's go with vision. We can't continue with the same thing over and over. When you look at these people's plans, they have no plans. We need a difference. So Grand Bahama, if you're ready for change, you can go back to Brave if you want, you know. But what did that do for you the last time they were in power? That's your question. You can go back to Minas, but how has that worked for you? So guys, I want each of you to say a little final word to each of you, to your community and to the Bahamas. So I'll start with you, Crystal.
Hello, you guys can hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I just want the people of Marco City to know that for the first time, you guys will have real representation, not just selective representation that caters to a few and select people. It'll be for everyone. We are going to stimulate and provide programs and platforms that is going to benefit everyone, the old, the youth, everyone in its entirety. That's what the message of the coalition is all about. Surprisingly, I've been eligible to vote in 2 previous elections, and I've never voted before. That's because very young, I understood that the system only benefits those that are affiliated with it. And so when the coalition message came out vying to create equal opportunities for everyone, I knew right then and there that was something that I wanted to be a part of, because instead of it just being a select few people, it's going to be us as a people. And that's what we need to realize, that unity is the best way forward. So forward, upward, onward together. And I'm hoping that you guys will take our hands and let's go forward into the new Bahamas. Change ain't coming, change is here.
Latanya Strong.
Yes, I want to speak directly to Central Grand Bahama. We've been in this situation in Grand Bahama for a long time now. I'm speaking about way back in 2004 and 5, Francis and Jean storms. And we've seen governments came and they left. We voted them in, we voted them out. At the end of the day, we continue to be the ones that are left without. We continue to be the ones that are left holding the bag. Coalition of Independence has put together a vision, has put together an empowerment, has put together an ownership platform for all Bahamians. And if we miss this opportunity, we don't know if this will ever come back again. This is not about us wanting to go to the parliament, but this is about the Bahamian people understanding that we've been deprived. We've been left out for far too long in Grand Bahama. And I believe it's time that we step up to the plate when we mark our X for something that speaks to us, something that speaks to vision, something that speaks to benefit for the Bahamian people, and like I always say, the generations to come. So I ask you, don't take for granted that September 16th, you could just mark X to anyone like it's a football game or a basketball game or a team. But this is about the future of your country. I ask you, take in serious consideration when you mark your X on September 16th, because it's going to determine whether we go forward as a nation, like Dr. Miles said, or if we continue to go backwards. We don't want to go backwards because we've suffered in Grand Bahama long enough. So I plead with you. And if I've not reached to your doors yet, me and my team, we're on our way. So I want you to be encouraged and know that change ain't coming, change is here.
Good day, everyone. Sorry, Lincoln, I lost connection. Did you elaborate it a little bit on the free trade?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. So let me speak to West Grand Bahama and Bimini. This is our time. The time is now. As I walk through the constituency of West Grand Bahama and Bimini, I have everyone asking for help. And these persons didn't just happen to fall in their predicament. They've been in these predicament for quite some time, decades and decades. This isn't just a 4-year issue. I ask you to put me in a position to help our constituency, to help the community that we so love. Put me in a position to serve our people, holistically the Bahamas. We are the majority. We will never get a chance like this again. My heart is broken when I get calls. I get 150 calls a day, and majority of those calls are for help, for aid. It is time for us to be able to help ourselves. We need to be able to export more than we import. We need to be able to mitigate the taxation in our country. We need to be able to mitigate the cost of living, price control. These are the things that are rising in the nation, and the paycheck is continually decreasing. It is time for New Bahamas. We're not playing any games. We are here to make the country better for Bahamians. On the September 16th, on September 9th, vote for change. Vote for COI. Vote for Stephen Hall and the team of the Coalition of Independence. Thank you all, and God bless.
I think we lost our brother Cooper for a minute. She was going to be last. I want to end as I see someone made a comment, and it's a very good and important comment and needs to be considered about why not put God first. The person said that we're talking about moving statues first, going to casino first, instead of having the National Day of Prayer first. Let me tell you something. There's no human being on this planet that loves God more than me. But religion is not something that you need to proclaim at all times. It is something that it needs to be a part of your life. I want to say that from that night, we are going to pray as a part of our celebrations. I'm going to invite Bishop Henshaw, if he is healthy enough, to come on that stage in front of everyone and bless our new nation. Don't think that this is not going to be a part of the
5701. Tell them I'm still in the meeting, but I'm finishing up now.
You have to mute your mic, stepping off. Don't think for 1 second that that's not going to be a part of what we do. That is important. When the children of Israel got into the promised land, the first thing they did was not get on their knees and pray. The first thing they did was fight. The first thing they did was fight and get to work on building their country, not that they didn't pray. When David had to face Goliath, he did not go on his knees. He went to face that so-called giant and ran towards him. We will dedicate to prayer. We will pray that night. We will thank God that night. It will be a part of what we do immediately. Don't take that for granted. But I think you need to hear that from me. And so that will happen. We will cut off the giant's head. And then we will be thankful. But another part of what we have to do, someone also asked the question, why are you removing the statue? What is it about Columbus? Because a lot of people don't know the truth about Columbus. Columbus was a murderer who actually was in prison when he went back to Spain because of the acts that he did in the Caribbean. They imprisoned him. He died a pauper because of how they had to deal with him, because of the treacherous acts he did in the Caribbean. He was a murderous monster to the point where he even started to kill some of his own men. And that's when they dropped the hammer on him. We should not be celebrating someone like that. You would not have the statue of a deranged criminal anywhere in your country. It just wouldn't happen. If you mention certain people or praise certain people, if you praise Adolf Hitler right now, you will be an outcast in any society. But yet you were having a Columbus Day, and you have the statue on our government house of Columbus. It represents something. The foreigner coming to your land, raping, pillaging, and plundering, and the locals suffering. We have to remove that symbolism immediately. Is it important? Is it important to remove that symbolism? And is it important to replace it with one of our heroes? I recommend Randall Fox, the man who gave us Majority Rule Day. And that is why. And so we will remove that symbolism. We will end discrimination against Bahamians. There should never be a law in your country that says you can't do something because you're a Bahamian. This is about ownership, not just about gambling in the casino. Bahamians should be able to own a casino. This is what this is about, that now Bahamians can do anything that they want to do in their country and be whatever they want to be. They can do anything that anyone else can do. That is ethical. If you can own a casino in my country, any Bahamian should be able to own a casino in their country. Come on, man. This is a civil rights issue for Bahamians. How we have sat down as a people and allowed this to continue for so long is beyond me. I tried to explain this to my daughter the other day, and it doesn't even make sense to her. I tried to explain it. I can't make it make sense, but all of us adults are sitting down and watching this and just saying, just leave it. Yeah, we can't ride in the front of the bus. Yeah, we can't eat in the restaurants. Yeah, we have to go in the colored-only bathroom, so just leave it. This is our civil rights. And we have sat down and watched it. Your sons and daughters should be able to own a casino. I don't gamble. I'm not interested. I don't have no web shop account. I don't gamble. All right, so if you ask me to send you something from my web shop, I don't have none. Because I don't gamble. But I believe that all people should be equal. It's a statement. And then because it's a Sunday, we're going to go on that Sunday and we're going to dedicate that day to prayer. I hope that sounds good to you. I hope you now understand. But that is what I believe in. All right? Thank you all for tuning in. I don't think there was any more pertinent questions because we don't run from any of your questions. I'm going to see you soon. We're going to be coming to you on a nightly basis at 8:30, heading up the election, inform you what's going on, inform you what's happening. The government is going to be trying tricks. The government is going to be trying tricks. We need you to volunteer. Volunteer to work the polls. It's not too late. You can still work the polls. It's too late to register to vote in advance polls, which I encourage all of you to do and to go early. But you can still work the polls for your candidates. In Grand Bahama, if you really believe in the movement, stop worrying about you work for government and all this kind of stuff. We got a country to save, man. Do this for your children. Sign up. Sign up. Go to one of your candidates. Candidates, y'all can put your number down in the chat box. Get in touch with them. Let them know you want to work the polls. And we got to watch this government that may try to steal this election or try to give it to the PLP. Because they prefer for the PLP to get it than for us to get it. Trust me on that. All right? So thank you all that were here. Thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us. We're going to see you again tomorrow at 8:30. Remember, this weekend, rally. This weekend, motorcade. Come out and show them that you are ready for the New Bahamas. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.